This is Survivor Talk with D&D's Listener Feedback Show.
This is Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwaine.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. Tonight is our listener feedback show for episode 10, and David is going to tell you what all you have to look forward to.
We have listener feedback, of course, because that's what this podcast is about. We will continue with fantasy picks for episode 11. We will get to hear, did you get to finish a crazy theory?
I finally came up with a crazy theory. It was hard coming, but I got it.
Sweet. And if there's any interesting comments from the live audience on YouTube, we'll share some comments and talk about them.
That's right, because we are live on Google Plus and YouTube. All right, hey, if you're new to us, and we know we've got several new listeners, thank you for joining us. If you're old, been here for a while, thank you for coming back. And, hey, you know what, David?
What?
It's Christmas time, almost in the city.
And you know, Christmas is really about giving.
Yes.
So how about giving us a moment and clicking on our link into Amazon and shopping through that line?
Yes. If you buy anything through Amazon for Christmas and you don't use our link, may the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits. Okay, maybe not. But spread the Christmas joy. Spread the Christmas joy by using our link to Amazon. Seriously, it does help support the podcast immensely. We're already having a good month, the best month so far, because many of you are shopping for Christmas using Amazon. And if you don't want to go use our link, create a link on your desktop. Just put survivortalkwithdnd.com/Amazon, and you'll always be using our link if you do that. All right. Are you ready, David, for listener feedback?
Sure.
I am too. First, we have a first-time contributor, Lenny in Massachusetts.
Hi, D&D. I am a new listener thanks to the Podcast Awards. Hey, that's number 2.
Yeah.
That's willing to publicly step up and admit.
Yes. That's willing to admit it.
That's right. Now, about that idol clue and the whereabouts of the idol/idols. What do you guys make of the fact that the idol clue was handed out before the swap? Forget for a moment that Vetus burned the clue given to him by Laura M. prior to the swap. My point is, the producers could not have known in advance what tribe the clue holder, in this case Vetus, would end up on after the random buff draw. This leads me to think that the clues were not tribe-specific, which begs the question, was there an exact serpent-like tree on the way to the well on the Galong Beach as well? Loving the podcast, Lenny in Massachusetts.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I have an answer. I think the answer is yes. That production went out, found a snake-like vine, and planned it around the trees, those 2 trees, and yes, there was identical clues because there was an identical place that you could find the idol in both camps. That's my thought. What do you think?
I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because we know that each episode of Survivor is not a perfect one-shot run-through. We know that it gets stopped. We know that it gets edited, and we even know that the challenges are edited to the point where Probst goes back and re-comments on challenges to make them work out to the edit.
Well, right.
Some rounds go different. So we also know that there's a possibility that Probst could say, "You giving it to Vetus? All right, cut. Give me the right clue. All right, you giving it to Vetus? Here you go, Vetus. Here's your clue."
Yeah, but he's saying it was before the swap.
I'm saying it could have been edited so that Vetus got the clue. He got the clue before the swap.
That's what he's saying.
This
he's
is the
saying,
last episode, then?
What do you guys make the fact that the idol clue was handed out before the swap?
Well, then, yeah, that I...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking they probably, put a vine on a tree in both camps.
Yeah.
Maybe. But, I mean, you're right. They do a lot of post-production stuff.
It could be like you said, and it could be one well. and they're told what time they can go to it so that both tribes don't go there at the same time.
So basically, one well to feed them all.
One tree to guide them.
Yeah.
One serpent to bring them all, and down the idol find them.
Yes. So. Bravo. Bravo.
That's really weird. I'd love to find out because it makes me wonder if they found the idol at the whatever beach they're on right now, which I think is Tadhana. What happened to the other one? Have they blocked them from going back to the other serpent tree? If there was one, that's a good idea too. Sure, I can see production saying we need to find a tree just like this.
Yeah.
Over there. So I could see that too.
Yeah, it's mainly they have to find a vine, and they could find a vine and quote unquote plant it.
I would just have a hard time believing there was two exact clues. The clue is the exact same for both tribes.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
All right, we'll see.
Unless they knew how the swap was going to turn out.
Oh, stop it. You've been doing JFK reading too much.
And I've still got more to watch thanks to Shayna. She sent me like 15 shows to watch.
Gosh. All right, thank you, Lenny. That was a good feedback for your first feedback. Got us talking and making us wonder.
It made me look a little goofy for a few minutes.
Well,
it's not hard.
That's always a great feedback if we can get David looking goofy.
Yes. Great observation.
All right, next we have, oh, by the way, do you see what's hanging on the wall behind me?
I do.
I wish it wasn't there.
But you made the promise.
I made the promise that if y'all sent me something, I would hang it on the wall. And Faith, what's her last name? Schuler? Faith Schuler,
yeah.
I thought that was right. Apparently she's from Seattle, maybe. Sent me
that would be a good guess.
Huge. I mean, we're talking a nice Seattle Seahawks flag. This isn't some cheap flag, David. This is like really nice.
So you have to hang it outside your house too when they play.
Oh gosh. No, I didn't promise that. I didn't promise that. But they are doing much better than my Cowboys, and that's why she thought she would enjoy putting this up in my thing. So it'll be up not only tonight, but it won't be up Wednesday, but it'll be up for like the next week and a half.
Yeah.
Because she gets a full, week, and so I'm so happy.
What you pay for. Good job,
Thanks, Faith. Anybody else want to send me something? Just message me. I'll send you my email address. And Matt's sending me a. No, I'm just be quiet. I'll just drop that one. All right. Next we have Deb. Next we have Deb. Here we go. While I probably would never vote my mom out.
I just got that. What you're going to say?
A little slow there, David.
Sorry. It's the lag.
Oh, there's no. That was not lag. That was slowness.
Like, what was Matt saying? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. Well, this is from Deb. While I probably would never vote my mom out, do you remember at the beginning of the season when they were having the sumo challenge? When Laura had a confessional where she said that when she played games with her kids, she didn't let them win, and they had to beat her honestly. I can't think Laura would hold the vote against Sierra. Oh, I don't either. I don't think she will.
Mm-mm.
I'm thinking that Laura doesn't know when to shut up. She just kept digging that hole for herself at Tribal Council. Not only for herself, it was a two-man hole.
Yeah.
For Sierra to jump in as well.
And she talks about losing honestly. There's no you can't really say that Survivor goes completely honestly. It's not a face-to-face game. It's a stab you in the back game.
Yeah.
So.
But like when you're playing Monopoly at home with your kids.
Right, in those types of games, yes.
And you have a Monopoly and they're trying to trade you so they can get one. Sorry.
No, that's called cutthroat.
That's called playing the game.
Here we go.
All right. I still think Jervis is playing a pretty vanilla game. Picking the right person to hang and vote with doesn't impress me as great game playing. Maybe he's doing something we're not seeing. I don't know, she says.
There's tons that we're not seeing because we've heard this from former survivors. Sherry said she talked to Cochran and Dawn a lot about strategy, and we just never saw it. And unfortunately, it was part of the edit because she wasn't going to get a vote.
Right.
And maybe Jervis isn't going to get a vote if he makes it to the end, which is why he needs to get rid of Tyson.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And also, I didn't Sierra tweet to somebody or told somebody, and I saw it, that she approached Hayden and Caleb to try to get out Tyson and Jervis, and Hayden and Caleb wouldn't trust her mom, so they wouldn't do it.
No.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
So again, things we don't see, and they only show us stuff that's going to fit their story.
Right.
They could show this exact same season and tell completely different story. It'd be a completely different season.
Sure.
Just
Exactly. That's it. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because we see like 5%, 10% of everything filmed.
Oh gosh, yeah, very little than that. I'm enjoying this season more than I thought I would, but Colton being gone is part of that. Heard Aris say today on a couple of podcasts that they were going to name the merged tribe Tidy Whiteys, but production wouldn't allow that.
I can see that.
They should have allowed it. That would have been funny. I had to laugh out loud at that. Tyson came up with the name they used. I'd like to see Tyson win still, just because he's so irreverent. I enjoy people that don't take life so seriously sometimes. I just don't want to see Monica win. There's something about her that I just don't care for, and I haven't put my finger on it yet. I'm wondering what those two moms are going to do to Vetus. Listen to my crazy theory, and you'll find out. Mike K posted the CBS teaser for next week. Two moms pull a less than maternal move at the Redemption Arena. Guess I'll just have to wait. Enjoy your week, Deb. Good job, Deb.
Now, I think it seems like some people are getting tired of Monica because she's nervous all the time, talking too much, strategizing too much. But at the same time, this is her second chance to not get stabbed in the back like she got last time. I think we've talked about it before. If you're nervous, you're nervous. You know, you've been stabbed before. You don't want to get stabbed again. So I can see her not trusting anybody.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you can't trust everybody because only one of you can win. So, I mean, I'm not against Monica this season at all. I'm pulling for her like I was in the beginning. I mean, I don't think she's going to do as well because she's obviously made people not like her. But I don't know. I'm not in the anti-Monica so far this season.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Well,
you think the two moms are going to make their daughters come down and take their place?
You'll have to wait for my crazy theory. Just chill out.
Okay.
All right. And by the way, you may like Monica, but Deb still can't put her finger on it, but she doesn't. So. All right. Before we get to our next feedback, we do have a comment from our live feed from Mike in Southern Cal. David, why don't you read it?
It says, but we've only seen a waterfall at Tadhana's camp. And the clue that John read said, the waterfall is refreshing, but not as refreshing as power in the game. Find the serpent in the trees and dig for the power to save your flame.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's two waterfalls? I still think it's camp specific, and I think it's edited that way.
All right.
But I understand Lenny's point. I'm actually going to go back and watch that scene now and see. You know, I still think they controlled the swap, but anyway.
No, you do not. All right. Next we have Shayna from South Carolina.
Hi, Dwaine. Hi, David. It's Shayna from South Carolina. This was a really, really good episode. I loved it. I thought Monica was amazing in the challenge. And I think that at the end of the episode when Laura said that she'll go on the jury and campaign for Sierra, I think that really hurt Sierra's chances for getting to the final three, because I think we've heard a lot of survivors say that once you get to the end of the game, you're exhausted, and your choice for who wins the $1 million is based on a lot of your emotions. And I think Sierra would she could really get some jury votes, and with her mother's help, increase her chances, because she's a young mom with 2 little kids, and she could put $1 million to really good use. And I wouldn't be upset if Sierra was a winner. Yeah, she's playing really good, as we've all seen. And I think that next week, I predict that I think Katie is gonna get the vote out, just because she's the only one we didn't see, I think, in the previews. I don't think Tyson's in trouble at all. I think he might have to use his immunity idol to save him, but I think he'll be just fine. And last, I just want to say that your Dwaine singing in last week's feedback show was really good, and it reminded me of the funniest, I think, scene in Breaking Bad when Gail sings Major Tom. And just in case you don't remember, I'll just play a little clip of that right here. I hope you can hear this. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, earth below us, drifting, falling, floating with us, calling, calling home. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's a compliment, by the way. I think Gail was really good at singing, and so are you. So I look forward to the next episode and look forward to hearing your feedback. Have a good day. Bye.
Shit, I don't know if that was a compliment or not. Thank you very much.
She said your singing was good. So,
and so was Gail's.
That's a compliment, yes.
Okay. I tell you what, I was watching, excuse me, I was watching that season of Breaking Bad after Hank is, bedridden for a while. Boy, he's so horrible to his wife.
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonder she doesn't just go in there and shoot him in the head. He's horrible to her. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, let's see, Shayna. She doesn't think Tyson's in trouble. She thinks Katie's going home. Sounds like she's been reading your picks, David.
Yeah, actually, most all of her comments were in line with my thoughts. So that wasn't me with a female voice modulator. That was our friend Shayna. But I agree with most everything she said, except for who's going home this week.
That and I don't sound like Gail.
Well, that part was okay, but
this is 2 strikes against Shayna. Shayna, I love you, but last week you spoiled SOA for me. That I sounded like.
But because
she
shared so many great links with me to watch, because I'm a conspiracy nut too, that I'll take away one of their strikes, so it's just 1 strike.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so I hadn't watched. Oh, I better not tell y'all in case you haven't watched it. Oh my gosh.
Well, Shane and I have a private Sons of Anarchy chat until Dwaine caught up. So we would talk about all the new episodes while Dwaine was in season 3, season 4, season 5, and he finally caught up. But we don't always watch it at the same time.
Well, I'm a day behind because I have to watch it on the computer, and y'all get to watch it like on whatever station it comes on. So she goes, "Oh my gosh, so and so killed so and so," and I wrote, "Really?"
I wrote. I'm not sure. Dwaine, have you seen this yet?
She's never gonna live this down. All right, thank you. Next we have Mike in Cleveland, our friend Mike. Hi guys, I would like to start this feedback with congratulations towards Sierra for her future induction into the Survivor Hall of Fame. I would also like to be one of the first to congratulate her for being the first player to lock down a spot on Survivor Heroes vs. Villains 2. Unfortunately, much like Penner, Candace, and Phillip, her first season's gameplay just about ensures she will never win this game. Not this season or any one of her stone-cold lock future multiple castings. In a game where your fellow castaways are looking for any reason whatsoever to vote you out, she will be forever known as the untrustworthy girl that voted her mom out of the game. You have any comment on that, David?
How did you know I would have a comment on that, Dwayne?
Because I thought you might.
Well, I don't agree with it necessarily. I don't think I think the people she was most trustworthy to were the people besides her mom. I didn't necessarily think that was untrustworthy because she actually said, if it comes to a tie or we can't get Katie, then I'm okay with voting out my mom.
Yep.
And the one person I would think you could, this might sound weird, you could turn on but still be trustworthy to the people that don't know you is your loved one.
Right.
You're willing to sacrifice your loved one. To me, that would be the aspect of the game, to either me or my loved one to win.
Yeah.
And if it got me to the end, I would sacrifice my loved one. But I don't think necessarily that makes her untrustworthy. What I would have rather seen her do would be to offer up Laura for the vote, but pull a blind side and get Caleb and Katie and Hayden to vote with them, either Tyson, Monica, or Jervis.
Well, she tried, according to...
Right. According to her, she tried. You're right, like you said in her tweet. That, to me, would have been the better move, and from according to her, she tried to do that. But when it didn't work, she went with, I think, what she thought was the safe move. And I think she had even though Tyson said that she's smarter than we give her credit for, I think she still had a safe chance of going further until tribal council. Now, this is what we got off TV. Stuff could have been said at camp during the day, too, that put her in jeopardy as well.
Right.
But I think Laura trying to get herself out of the hole at tribal council put Sierra in there with her.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you agree that she came across as untrusting?
No, no, I didn't. And whenever I first read that line, it kind of took me off. I was a little surprised. But you know what? We see things differently. Mike sees it differently than you and I do. All right, let's see. Where am I? Oh, there we are. The ironic part of her story will come in 3 days when her mother puts her out of the game at Redemption Island. So he's thinking she's going home, or that she's being voted off.
And that part I'm agreeing.
Yeah. Could she have saved her mom? I don't know, and probably doubt it, but she should have never written her mom's name down. The better move would have been to reluctantly accept Tyson's original offer and work Katie, Caleb, and her mom to vote either Tyson or Jervis instead. Well, now you agree with him on that.
I do, but I don't really think that was a real option. I think her and Laura still being there as the last loved ones was up on Tyson's list. I think it was high on his, Jervis's, and Monica's list to separate those two as soon as possible.
All right, he continues. Worst case, they lock the vote up and try to force Tyson, Jervis, or Hayden to flip. Instead, she has shown herself to be a cold-hearted and calculating. I actually misread that. To be cold-hearted and calculating.
Yes.
Of course, after hearing Laura talk at Tribal, I might have cut her loose also.
Okay, so besides all that, once we get to the end of the episode, okay, I've changed my mind.
Yeah. Quote, I will be at Ponderosa campaigning for votes, unquote. Really? Mike says. So you're recommending they vote Sierra off next? Should have been Jeff's next question.
Yep.
Clearly that gene pool will not be producing a Survivor Road Scholar anytime soon.
Now, I wonder, as much as Jeff likes to prod and pull answers, I wonder if he did ask that, and that to me would have been too obvious for the next episode. I mean, how obvious was it to us immediately that you're setting up your daughter to be the next one sent home?
Yeah. Sierra's sitting there going, shut up. I told you not to talk.
Did I not tell you?
All right. It seems to me Tyson's chances of surviving to the final tribal have taken some heavy shots these last 2 episodes. My guess, he is going out 5th or 4th. Seems to me he is more Malcolm first season, this season, than Kim. Keep up the good work, Mike in Cleveland.
I think his persuasion, and you and I have been talking to this with some other friends in a chat too, that I think his persuasion over the new players is even more dominant than we're seeing on TV.
Yeah.
I'll be really surprised if they try to pull a blindside on him this week, which I hope they do. I hope they force him to play the idol, and I hope this game gets really interesting. But I just think he's got either Hayden or Caleb swayed over. I think Hayden, and I just don't think they're going to play against him. They think he's going to take him to the end.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if Tyson does go out 5th or 4th, we'll have to give props to Mike, because Mike has been saying for several episodes that Tyson's not looking as good as we all think he is.
If Tyson goes out 4th or 5th, I think we should find out if we can play Cleveland Rocks as our introduction music for one of our podcasts.
And how does that go, David?
Cleveland Rocks. Drew Carey used to sing it at the start of his show.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, I'll give props too. That would be a great prediction.
I know.
Because he's really getting the edit this year to finish well.
Yeah. Mike in Cleveland has a different perspective than a lot of us do.
Which I love, because it is different.
Right. Well, and he's a reluctant Survivor fan. He's not like he pretty much watches it because he likes our show, and so he watches because of our show. But he'd much rather this show be about Amazing Race, you know?
Right, because I mean, he's one about integrity. He likes integrity. He likes straightforwardness, and that's kind of how I think he watches Survivor. He watches it that way. Like you said, he called her untrusting, and I could see where he would call her that, especially to her mom.
Right.
But I mean, but that's the great thing about having so many listeners that we have and friends on Facebook is that we all have different perspectives, and that's
it's great. It's great. All right, next we have, in fact, it's our second to last one. It's our penultimate feedback. Vance in Utah.
Hey, Dwaine and David. As usual, I have a couple of observations. During Laura and Sierra's moment on the beach, Laura starts talking about Sierra and how proud she is of her growth, particularly within the game. And just as Laura starts to get emotional and a couple of tears start to run down her cheek, in the background, we all of a sudden see a strike of lightning. Like it was meant to be. I could see the CBS producers calling out, "Cue the lightning," just like Ed Harris in Truman Show. This happens around the 26 or 27-minute mark. Rewatch it if you still got it. It's great. You can also rewatch it on CBS.com if you don't have it recorded anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't
notice that. I did not notice that.
I remember that a storm was coming. I don't remember exactly when the lightning struck, but I remember seeing like, hey, there's some rain coming. And I thought and the reason I remember is because I thought we were going to get some footage of a bad night. So I remember seeing the storm coming. He continues. Also, we see in the previews that some are starting to target Tyson. Do you think that Tyson could play the hidden idol and totally blindside everyone else? Because we have seen him protect the fact that the hidden idol is actually hidden. I would really like to see the hidden idol get some kind of play this season outside of the clues being burned throughout the first half of the season. On Karamoan, we got some very interesting play, maybe not great strategic play, but interesting. On the Philippines, the hidden idol didn't get any play. Malcolm kept it for his mom. Those are just a couple of my thoughts. Thanks, Vance and Utah. I do have some comments about Tyson and the Idol, but I was going to save it for our fantasy picks because that's one of our fantasy questions.
Well, I was going to answer his question. He says, is it possible? The answer is yes. Will it happen? No. Or I don't think so. Could be wrong. Thank you, Vance, from Utah. In Utah, up north somewhere, there are probably tons of snow up there right now.
It's more out west.
Oh.
It's kind of north, but more out west.
I don't know where Utah is.
Yeah, it's near Nevada.
That's okay. Hey, there's probably people listening to us right now that don't know where Alabama is. You know? Because you kind of, unless your mom or dad made you memorize all the state locations, which mine did not, you pretty much know your area. And then the big ones like California and stuff.
Yeah.
But Vermont, I couldn't tell you where Vermont was. Do you know where it is?
Do you know if it's West Coast or East Coast?
West, I think.
Oh, Lord.
It's an East Coast. This is embarrassing. I should shut up while I have.
Do you know where Massachusetts is?
Yes. That's Boston.
Which is more north, South Dakota or North Dakota?
Well, by their names, I would assume North Dakota. This is really horrible, David. I know where Wisconsin is. Wisconsin. I know where New York is, New England, Florida, South Carolina.
Now, you know New England's not a state, right?
Whatever. I'm so embarrassed. I am red and embarrassed.
Yes, you are. It's not the coloring on the camera. It's you.
I do know where the Philippines are, though. And Enrico from the Philippines is our next feedback. You know what's amazing is if you look on we have this big missions map at our church. It literally is like 20 feet by 20 feet. It's huge. Mm-hmm. And so you can kind of see where all the stuff is. The Philippines, man, it's like, I mean, you like stand on one foot and you move your foot wrong and you're off the Philippines. That's
right.
It's really small on that map.
Yep.
All right. Hello, D&D. So this episode is probably the only one this season where blood versus water was actually tested, as there are no other couples left. The build-up to it was pretty good, and we saw a big shift in focus for the editing of a complex survivor like Sierra. Props to her that her strategic play was highlighted immensely in the past 10 episodes. I mean, we haven't really seen this kind of an edit since, I don't know, Brenda in Nicaragua. Had she not turned on her mom, would she get even noticed, especially based on dismal challenge performances? From the pregame interviews, it seemed that Sierra was the weakling, the emotional wreck, and we didn't get to understand where Laura speaks of her strength. But this episode not only showed it, It made Sierra an all-star material. The downside to this is that she probably reached the peak of her story and be voted out soon. Tyson and the rest realized that she had been playing her own game and has been successful at it thus far, that they probably won't let it get past them. She showed too much of her hand. Wet with the sweat of strategy, dirtied with the blood of a difficult choice. If she can do that to her mom, who knows what else she can do. And what makes this episode even better was that Sierra had been open about this on Laura, and both knew their separation could be inevitable, and that it was never an easy decision.
So you know what his description of Sierra reminds me of? It makes me think of a female Cochran. Because strategic game, but very weak in challenges, which is how Cochran was seen. They looked at him and said he's not going to be good in challenges. But they did not know that he had a social game, which he really didn't get a chance to play in his first season, but I think he obviously did in Caramoan. He got to play it very strong, and it worked to his advantage. I mean, who would have thought he was going to dominate in any challenge or anything? So why not, not even pay attention to him? And the same thing with Sierra. After her first challenge, you kind of thought she's not going to win a challenge. What challenge is she going to win? Right. So she could be playing a very good strategic game. Now, Cochran had the advantage of being John Cochran when he went to Caramoan. Right. And now if she comes back on a returnee season, she would be Sierra, from Blood versus Water. So I just think she had a disadvantage of being a new player. Unfortunately, with players, in my opinion, who are following like blind goats around Tyson, whatever you want to call them, but I don't think she had compatible new players with her, like Cochran did when he returned with players like Dawn and Andrea. Right. So I think I understand what he's saying, and I think if she came back, she could have a different game, So that's interesting. It's the other side of what Mike Cleveland was saying about her coming back not having a chance, whereas Enrico's the way he describes her, it could be a second Cochran, a female Cochran.
That's interesting I think you would. I hadn't thought about comparing her to Cochran yet. Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen enough of her to do that. But
he says strategic and weak in challenges. I'm like, hey, that's Cochran.
Yeah, that's true. All right, he continues. Just a few more observations on this amazing episode. Number 1, the editing and music worked perfectly in foreshadowing impending doom, except for our mandatory Redemption Island duel. While I do think that too much Laura Sierra crying in the episode would not have helped that much, I'm having continuity issues with the first half of Brotherly Love and the second half of Betrayal. Sort of, he says.
I don't think that finished the way they wanted it to finish. Because to me it seemed like, and we even talked about this, they rushed right into the duel. They barely asked Tina if you let Katie swap and it went away. And they jumped right into the duel. They got right to Ars and Vita saying goodbye, and it was just kind of okay, and it was done. Right. And I'm like, either they weren't any part of the story anymore, or that just was the best they got. Yeah. Do you guys got any other comments about each other? Is there anything else you want to say? Yeah. So that did feel kind of rushed.
All right, number 2. Did Sierra voting out her mom do her any good at all? The numbers had been set anyway, and voting Laura out seemed like rubbing salt to an open wound. But then again, the only other person she could have voted for was Katie. For me, it seems that Katie would have been the better vote because it somehow makes her a tiny bit less threatening. Whatever her vote was, she would have still been in the outside. All right. Number 3. Monica was zoning out in the episode and in the challenge. It surprised me that she was lucky to be allowed to barter away her reward and avoid potential trust issues like Dawn.
Well, even Probst said in one of his questions with Dalton Ross that, he has obviously a say over whether that would be allowed or not, and he just thought it was so drastic that why not? Oh, yeah. If she's willing to give it all up, why not give her a chance to make that decision? So, yeah. Plus, like I said, I don't think her stomach could have handled that food.
Yeah. Number 4, I wish Katie's hidden immunity idol clue led to a different idol. The rules for hiding hidden immunity idols has been very flexible, which was put on the spotlight last season. Yeah. Read. Yep. All right. Lots of snake scenes this episode. Next week we have Tyson being threatened. So will the imagery be like a crab breaking into a coconut? And then he continues, I really enjoyed last week's feedback show with M&M. That would be Michael Snow and Matt Bischoff. Maybe next time you can triple the fun with S&S, Sherry Beethman, and Shayna D. Till next week, Enrico from the Philippines.
Now, going back to his question about Sierra, did it voting out her mom do her any good at all? Was Katie the better option? I think when she went to Tyson and the boys and told them, look, she does not have the idol because I told her I had it and she believed me.
Yeah.
That locked in the vote that Katie could go.
Yeah.
So why did she vote her mom? I think she went with what she thought was the best option available. When she couldn't get the newbies to align, she went with what she thought was her best option. She caved. She gave in. She went with the Laura vote and thought that was going to put her in a good light.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't think Tribal Council went the way she wanted it to. But I think that's what she felt was her best and only option at the time.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, Reese, I agree with you. Sierra is no Cochran. Not yet. And
Well,
yes,
Cochran wasn't a Cochran until the second time he played either.
And yes, I realize that not knowing where Vermont is making me look horrible. Thank you all for your comments.
The West Coast.
Gosh. What? I'll just drop it while I can.
Should that be a blooper at the end? No, we'll leave it in. We'll leave it in. Don't leave it in.
I'm not taking it out. I mean, I'm embarrassed by it.
It's like what Mike said. I guess the South states ignore those northern states of the Union.
And then he gives a link to some. Like I'm gonna click the link. Mike is the link master. I have lived in Texas, in New Orleans, in Virginia, in South Carolina, and in Alabama. Those are the places. Oh, and Missouri. Those are the places.
And you've lived across the water.
And I lived overseas. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but anyway. All right.
But he's never been to Vermont.
No, I've obviously never been there, or I would have known where it was.
Or Utah.
And I didn't say New England was a state. I just knew that it was up north.
You were listing states.
No, I wasn't. I was listing places.
Okay.
Come on, help me out here.
You say so.
All right, episode 11 teaser.
Episode 11 is titled The Gloves. I added the because it sounds better. Gloves Come Off. There are 3 distinct teases in this teaser.
All right.
Number 1, a castaway's bold move could either smoke out the hidden immunity idol or extinguish their own flame.
All right, somebody's trying to go after Tyson.
Who do you think that is?
I don't know.
I think it's Sierra because I think she's the one that's going home. But anyway.
Yeah.
Number 2, also, one castaway is in hot water after playing both sides of the tribe.
Who would that be?
I would guess that would be Caleb.
I was just going to say Caleb.
As in giving in to Katie and Sierra's plot to blindside one of the others. Possibly. And then coming back to Tyson. He could be the one that goes back to Tyson and say, this is what they're planning to do.
Yeah. And
number 3, the 2 moms pull a less than maternal move at the Redemption Island arena. Do you want me to guess any more of that or leave it to your crazy
No,
guess?
you can do it. You go for it.
No, I mean, that was my guess, was what I said earlier, that they get Katie and Sierra to swap down so they go back. I'm ordering you as your mother to get down here. So.
By the way, back to number 2. Also, one castaway is in hot water after playing both sides of the tribe. Mm-hmm. This could just be one of the castaways plays both sides and wins the reward and gets a hot tub reward. I mean, this could just be a totally useless tease that means nothing more.
They would never give us a tease that means nothing. No.
Yeah, they would.
Surely.
Oh, yeah, sure they would. All right, well, episode 11 looks like it's going to be good. Yep. It also looks like it's going to be on Thanksgiving Eve, which means I'll be setting up my microphone and laptop in my parents' guest room. Remember last year I stood and did the whole podcast standing up?
Yeah, I remember that.
And it made you made you dizzy?
Kept moving.
I don't know what the setup's going to be like, y'all, but we're doing it live.
You doing that podcast thing in there?
Oh, man, I may have to just get my dad to come in. I may have to make him watch the episode and have him come in. He'll probably walk in, what are you doing? I thought you going to bed or something. All right, fantasy picks. Oh, yeah.
First
Time
question.
for fantasy picks.
First question. Does Tyson play the immunity idol?
Does Tyson play his immunity idol?
His immunity
What
idol,
are the
yes.
choices, David?
It would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
They would be no, and he is not voted off, or no, and he is voted off.
Uh-huh. My answer, no, and he is not voted off.
So you're taking number 2.
Okay.
Just like the SCA 9000.
Oh, that's scary.
Since I'm only worried about beating you, and I have a little room to play with now, I'm going to hope. I'm going to do this on a hope. Just like I picked Monica to get to the final 3 because I was hoping she would, not for any strategic reason. I'm going to hope that the newbies do get together and vote for against Tyson.
They won't.
But Tyson doesn't let anyone know about the idol. I know they won't. I agree with you. Maybe they'll get Monica to switch. Maybe Monica's the one that plays both sides of the tribe. And Tyson doesn't let anyone know. He lets them think they're going to vote him out because he finds out. So he plays the idol, and then he takes out Sierra. So I'm going to go with a wild shot here and say yes, he does play the immunity idol.
All right. Do you think you'll keep it that way, or do you think you'll change it by the time Wednesday comes around?
Well, I guess that depends on what flashes up on our screen, but I'm going to leave it like that. I think
that is true. That is true. All right, who wins
Although
immunity?
I would have rather gotten a better tease about Tribal Council.
Yeah, me too.
Play it. So, but I'll leave it since I'm.
Hey, leave it to CBS. They may just tell us the whole rest of the season in some crazy intern's mess up.
Yeah, really. Who wins immunity, male or female? There are 4 males and 3 females, and 2 of the females have already won individual immunity.
Okay.
So
I put a male. A male wins it.
So did I. I think they're due. Now, if they're out on a pier again with a rope, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
SCA 9000 went with a female.
Okay.
So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I went with a male.
All right.
Also. Points on the episode. I'll do the SCA first. It split its votes up. Oddly enough, on the 4 new players. Because I do this at random. I let it randomly select how many it's going to pick, and then I let it randomly select who. So it's got 5 on Caleb, 5 on Katie, 5 on Sierra, and 5 on Hayden. It completely skipped the returnees and went all new. I think it's starting to pay attention.
Yeah.
I really do.
Maybe so.
Okay.
So mine will probably change. But right now I have 10 points on Sierra and 10 points on Katie. Because I don't know which one, but I'm leaning towards Sierra. But I'm going to go ahead and just for now I'll put 10 on each.
That's a safe bet, but I think since Katie was allowed to stick around this week, I think they're going to allow her to stick around one more week, and they're going to get rid of Sierra because Sierra is playing more aggressively.
Well, right, Sierra's the bigger threat, so I'll probably end up putting all 20 on Sierra. Right now in the fantasy pool, most people have their points on Katie, which is kind of surprising to me.
Huh.
So.
I wonder if they think Sierra's going to get a bit of an edit run where she's going to be featured for the next couple episodes.
I don't know. This last episode could be the episode before I get voted off edit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I play big. Everybody realizes that I'm a bigger threat than they thought I was. I get voted off edit.
She's almost been as invisible as Brenda was last season, except that Brenda was never a candidate to be voted off because they weren't losing. Whereas Sierra's been a candidate to be voted off because they've been losing, but she's stayed in the game.
That's right.
So now is it time for the crazy theory?
It is, David. It is time for my crazy theory. Well, it is hard to top my last week's crazy theory. Which can I say how disappointed I was that song did not go viral on Twitter. I kept posting it. I started feeling like a desperate kid trying to get attention, so I stopped posting it. Because I was a desperate person trying to get attention. I seriously thought Tyson or Sierra would like the song and would retweet it, but no. I liked it a lot more than anybody else did.
I reached out as well on your behalf and got next to zero response. So
yeah, something's going on. They didn't like my song.
Know that we're nominated? Don't they know?
Yeah. Gosh.
I mean, sure, we don't know our states, or at least Dwayne doesn't know his states, but otherwise they should know.
Oh. Gosh, I'm going to get so much flack from this.
You are going to get the U.S. map posted on our Facebook page by Mike. I bet he's already pulled it up. He's got the link ready. It's going to be on our Facebook page before midnight tonight.
Or he'll probably send me one to put on the wall behind me.
Hey, before you get to that,
before I get to my crazy theory,
yes, to end our fantasy points, Gunnar Stahl says, I think Monica is the one playing both sides. Caleb tells Monica, who he thinks is alone, about the Tyson vote out, and she tells Tyson, and he uses the idol. That's my crazy theory. So that's kind of similar to mine in that I agree with you, Gunnar, because I really think if Tyson ever plays it, I don't think anybody's going to know about it. He doesn't want any chance of it getting leaked. So I think he's going to hold it until the last second and surprise everybody and play it. And I agree with you, Gunnar.
All right.
That was it.
All right, Dwayne's crazy theory for episode 11. Sierra and Katie shock CBS. Sierra and Katie, David, shock CBS and everyone watching at Redemption Island. They ask for a conference with their moms, and Probst agrees. When the conference is over, they shock everyone again by taking their moms' places at Redemption Island.
Ooh, I was on to something.
All right. So basically what happened was Sierra and Katie shock their moms. They want to talk to them. They tell their moms their plan. And their moms go along with it, and they swap places. All right. Sierra and Katie then work together. They work together and get Vetus out. So they help each other throughout the whole challenge, and they get first and second, and Vetus goes home.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Sending him to Ponderosa with his brother, but the shocking moment still hasn't come, or they're not finished. There's still more to my crazy theory. Sierra gives the clue. Sierra wins. Sierra gives the clue to Tina, and the survivors head back to camp. All right? So Tina and Laura are at camp now with the clue. Laura and Tina continue their daughter's plan. First, they talk to Monica and get her on board. Then they talk to Caleb and Hayden. With those three on board, Tina and Laura take out the Coconut Bandits in the next 2 episodes. That's my crazy theory.
Wow. See, that would be wonderful. I mean, that would be great TV. I'm not wonderful against Tyson, and Jervis, but that would be great Survivor TV.
Yes, it would.
So which one is going to distract Vetus and say, Vetus, I'm having trouble with my puzzle. Can you come help me with my puzzle for a minute?
I think Vetus is more of a Katie man myself.
As soon as you said they work together, one of them builds both puzzles while the other one says, oh, Vetus, can you help me with this?
Yes.
I'm having trouble.
Vetus, I keep dropping this puzzle piece. Can you help me pick it up? All right, so that is my crazy theory, David.
That's out there.
Yeah. It wasn't funny like my last one.
They don't all need to be.
But anyway. All right, so let's see what y'all people on YouTube are saying.
I told Reese I'd bring up his point.
Let's just bypass all this laughing at me for not knowing my states.
Reese made a good point in regard to the Sierra being trustworthy. He said that her mother may understand the move, but I wouldn't trust a person that was willing to turn on their mother.
I would, if they turned on their mother for me.
See, I would too, because to me, Survivor is a different animal. It's not like a regular game. I mean, even in Monopoly, Dwaine would turn on Connie so fast if he thought it would help the boys that it would end up helping him. Whatever helps him get to the end game, he would turn on whoever was sitting next to him.
and it made the Monopoly board fly across the room when Connie got mad at me.
It became an alien spacecraft as it floated across to the other side.
No, but seriously, if I'm playing with somebody and they agree to vote out their mother to be a part of my alliance, well, yeah, I mean, to me, that says, wow, they are really committing to my alliance. So, yeah, I would trust them.
And how interesting would it be, because this could have been a crazy theory too, but how interesting could it have been if Laura and Sierra came up with the plan of Laura pushing Sierra to join them in voting her out, letting her be the sacrifice. She's not sending her home. She's sending her to Redemption Island, where she is a threat to win.
That's right.
She's a threat to beat Tina, And in the right challenge, she's a threat to beat Vetus.
Right.
She could go on a run and win the next 2 or 3 challenges and return to the game, rejoin Sierra, and be 2 votes against maybe 3 or 4 who's still left.
That's right.
So that could be interesting.
Yeah. I also like what Gunnar wrote. Sierra voted her mom out to appease Hayden and Caleb to hope, cross his fingers, she can realign with them to take out the vets. I like that.
There you go.
I like that. See, Reese says Cochran was interesting in his first season. The most interesting thing Sierra did came in the 10th episode. Without that move, she is Katie. He may have a point, although I think they're not showing as much of Sierra.
I think Cochran was interesting because he got an edit that was going to favor him in the sense that he was the underdog from the beginning. Sierra was not the underdog. She was the mom, the young mom. She was not the redheaded, freckled, sunburnt, swollen-toed kid that should not have been out there. Super fan of the game. It's a completely different edit, but I mean I understand what he's saying. But I still think she's a non-strategic, non-physical threat, but a big strategic threat.
Yeah. All right, by the way, just to address this one right here, I'll put it up on the screen. Dwaine only knows the SEC states. Dude, I don't even know who's in the SEC.
I was going to say, I bet he doesn't know the SEC states.
I don't pay much attention to college football, other than I watch Alabama and Auburn play, and I also like Texas A&M a lot. And those are all SEC, but still.
Okay. As much as I'd love to continue embarrassing Dwaine, Reese goes on, says Tyson wins immunity, the newbies switch the votes to Jervis, and Tyson gives Jervis the idol, and Sierra gets voted out. Crazy theory. That might be crazy, but I don't think that's too far off of what could happen.
Okay, wait, say that again, because I don't see that one on my comment.
Tyson wins immunity, so he's got immunity and his hidden
idol. And the idol, okay.
And the newbies switch the vote after Tyson wins to Jervis, because they were going to vote Tyson, which is what all the previews were trying to tell us, which could also be the cameraman saying, would you ever consider voting Tyson? Well, yeah, he's controlling everything, but they're not. Anyway, they switch the vote to Jervis. At the last second, Tyson gives Jervis his hidden immunity idol, and Sierra gets voted out by Jervis, Tyson, and probably Monica.
Oh.
So that would be interesting. That would be a really good tribal council, but to me they would... See, this goes against my putting points on him to play the idol, because to me they would promote that. Another shocking tribal council. I think if that were to happen, they would promote it more.
Do you think the big shocker has happened yet? The shocker that made the cameraman burst with...
No, I thought Jeff said it's still to come in a tweet. Somebody asked him if it had happened, and we were talking about... I saw that one too. We were talking about if it's Purple Rock or not, what the big shocker... The candidates for the big shocker was person voted out their loved one, which to me wouldn't be a big shocker because this is the only season that could happen on.
Yeah, that's not a big shocker.
It's happened, yeah. Or the person getting voted out 3 times, which if Laura comes back and gets voted out again...
But that's not going to make the cameraman go...
No. Exactly, I agree. That's not a whoa moment.
No,
a whoa moment would be
what makes a...
Or somebody willing to go to the rock draw, and then it turning out the other way or something. Even rock draw to me is not a big thing.
Poverty did a moment when she handed out 3 idols.
And none on herself.
Right. That was a moment.
Yes.
Malcolm did one last season. Right?
Right. He did, but we weren't as woed because we kind of knew it was coming. But yeah, it was a great, great tribal council moment.
Yes. Okay, Gunnar, I'm going to put your comment up. The only shocking move by Katie and Sierra should include peanut butter.
Which is what Dwaine was hoping for at the challenge last week.
And, of course, leave it to Mike to list all the SEC states. Encyclopedia Mike. The man detective Encyclopedia Mike. All right, Jeff says it hasn't happened yet. Well...
Right.
If it hasn't happened yet, then, man, I bet it. Oh, wow. Who knows what it could be? All right. Wow. All right, man. Hey, do y'all want more Survivor Talk with D&D throughout the week? That's why we have a Facebook group, which is growing by the day. More and more people joining our Facebook group. Lots of good conversation on it. And, in fact, really, I lost track of it the last couple of days. Normally, I could keep up with all the conversations, and there's so much good Survivor talk going on our Facebook group that I just didn't. I mean, I was busy doing other stuff, and I don't think I've caught up with it all.
I spent one evening catching up on one conversation, but never got to comment on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really good stuff, y'all, and it's non-spoiler, and we're all friendly to one another. There's no, people being jerks on the group and everything like that. So join our Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/Survivor Talk. Of course, follow us on Twitter at Survivor_Talk, and go to our website, survivortalkwithdnd.com. Every week we have this podcast and our recap podcast, and we have 3 blogs every week. Shayna's and Katya's are already up, and David's power rankings will be up probably, tomorrow?
Sometime tomorrow, yes.
I hope so, because Tuesday I'll be on the road all day long.
Okay, I will try and get them done by tomorrow.
I cannot post your stuff if I'm on.
Well, I'll post it if I have to.
Although you could post it. Yeah.
You'll just have to forgive the lack of editing and grammar problems.
That's okay. I know who will help you with that. Love it. Hey, and while you're on our website, we really do appreciate you using our Amazon links and buying stuff on Amazon. We're having our best month this November, and let's keep it up. Buy those Christmas presents. All right. Anything else, David?
No, just a correction from earlier when you said Parvati handed out 3 idols. She actually handed out 2 to Sandra and Jerry. I didn't want to correct you, but since Mike brought it up,
I don't care if you correct me.
And I agree with Reese that Jeff has been known to exaggerate, so it might be best not to get our hopes up for the breathtaking move.
Yes.
And as a final word, in case you all don't listen to our recap until after you've stuffed yourself on Thursday, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's right.
Safe travels and all that good stuff.
We will be live on Wednesday night. I don't know. Our live show on Wednesday has been starting a little later. This one might start closer on time because I'll probably watch Survivor live with my family while I have to listen to my dad talk about how it's not real and everything the whole time.
You'll probably get the same treatment I get, whereas people come back home while I'm trying to watch Survivor and they want to stop and talk while I'm trying to watch Survivor.
Yes.
So thank goodness for the pause button.
Yeah. You're like, look, I haven't seen you in 3 months, but I'm watching Survivor.
You've got to understand.
I have a podcast to record.
I have a nominated podcast that must get
That's
done.
right. Best Entertainment Podcast of 2013 nomination. All right, y'all. Hey, go to iTunes. We are close. Oh, we're so close to 100 ratings. Like under 15, I think. Maybe 18. Somewhere around there. But leave us a 5-star rating. Put one of those nice comments on there. Just don't mention the whole state thing, please. I am rather embarrassed by that. So I seriously am not happy about this little incident that happened. So anyway, music for tonight's show is Giving You All Control by Jeremy Camp. We want to thank you again for listening. And that's all I've got, Dave. How about you?
I'm good.
All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.
So I surrender all my